I think they also lied, right? They lied. Classic. They lied about like how she was. Instead of that, they went in, shoots the person that called 911 in her home.
Out to an unnerving
I'm not going to
story
show
out
you
of
the video.
Illinois, where a black woman was by a sheriff's deputy.
I don't know how many
after
people have
calling
seen it, but it's one of the worst ones I've seen since the Carver shooting.
Yeah.
If people remember that one. One of the,
911 for help. Shocking body camera footage shows the moments before, during, and after a sheriff's deputy shot and 36-year-old mother of two, Sonia Massey, on July 6th. That now former deputy, Sean Grayson, has pleaded not guilty to first-degree. Roxana Saberi has more.
they're charging with first degree. I didn't know that.
He looks like a not person.
Well, yeah,
like judging by both his actions and also just if I didn't know anything, I would say that's definitely a not right.
I don't know if it was his tattoos specifically, but at least one of the cops on the body cam footage, you can see like a black sun tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
More
Classic.
from Springfield, Illinois, and a warning: the video you're about to see in this story is incredibly disturbing.
The body camera video shows Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson and his partner searching around Sonia Massey's home in Springfield, Illinois, around 1 a.m. after she'd called 911 reporting a prowler.
Sheriff's office!
The officers waited more than 3 minutes before Massey
that's not a
opens
black
the
sun,
door
but it's
and says,
fucking
"Don't
something.
hurt me."
I don't know what that
I
is.
hurt you. You called us.
Okay,
So what'd you hear?
somebody keeps outside my house.
A few minutes later, they
It's like wild that they. It's wild that they like are aware that this is the person who called them.
Yeah.
And then they still do this execution. It's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it does kind of seem like he went into it wanting to take somebody.
This is the most. How can I get a Nazi tattoo without it obviously being a Nazi tattoo I've ever seen?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he just really loves like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Who knows?
Not a black sun. It's a Nordic protection rune. It's been appropriated by Nazis, but my very lib godfather also has one. Well, I mean, context. You know, it's a little different, I think, when you're a cop with that sort of thing.
went inside.
What is your last name? Shouldn't have to think about your last name. You're not in trouble. I just need to text.
At one point, Massey got up to remove a pot of hot water from the stove.
We don't need a fire while we're here.
But within seconds...
Yeah, the cop himself literally says, like, you know...
He's suggesting that she do that.
Yeah.
Like, Christ.
The moment turned tense.
Where you going?
Away from your hot steaming water.
Away from my hot steaming water?
Yeah.
Oh, I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Yeah, that means like I'm not. Why would you suggest I'm doing that?
Shoot your face.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Drop the pot! Drop the pot!
Investigators say Grayson fired
on
3
the
times,
fucking
striking
ground.
Massey in the face. The second officer tried
it's
to
like
give the
no way she could have
36-year-old
even
first
touched them
aid,
with that.
even though
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
these
pure
guys,
evil
these guys should
naked.
fry. Like,
Grayson
God,
discouraged him.
I'm gonna go get my kit. No, headshot, dude. She's done.
He laughs, too. He goes, nah, it's a headshot. Haha, she's done. Look,
Yeah. She's done.
you can hear it in his voice.
God.
Yeah. Yeah, they say she threw the water when it just fell after she got shot in the head.
Yeah, like, out of the
Grayson later described the incident to
ones we've
responding
seen
officers.
where there's like a full
House is
recording of
cleared.
it.
She was the only one.
It reminds me so much of like the Carver shooting.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, Jesus.
No, she had boiling water and came at me with boiling water.
You shot her?
Yeah. She said she was going to rebuke me in the name of Jesus and came out with boiling water. That's what all this is.
Massey was pronounced dead at a local hospital.
It was senseless what he did. And he never should have had a badge and a gun on his hip.
Massey's father, James Wilburn, says seeing the footage of his daughter's death makes him angry and heartbroken.
What's the hardest part about this for you?
The last words that my daughter said to me was, "Daddy, I love you." And to know and realize that I won't see her again. I can't talk to her again.
I think they also lied, right? They lied. Classic. They lied about like how she was. Instead of that, they went in 6 different police departments. Former sheriff's deputy who fatally shot Sonia Massey held
Yeah,
6 police
they
jobs.
fucking move these guys around like priests who molest kids. They do the same thing. They just shuffle them around like every county or township.
Yeah. Former sheriff's deputy who fatally shot Sonia Massey in her Illinois home while responding to her call for help has held 6 different police jobs since 2020. Since 2020, in 4 years, the Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board confirmed to ABC.
Is there
body camera footage released Monday shows former deputy Sean Grayson yelling at Massey, an unarmed 36-year-old woman and mother of 2, to put down a pot of boiling hot water. The footage
After he told her to do that, after he told her to take it off the stove.
The footage reviewed by ABC News shows that Massey told the deputy, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," and then she apologized after the officer threatened to shoot her. She poured the water into the sink and ducked down behind a counter, covering her face with what appears to be red oven mitt. She briefly rose, and then Grayson shot her 3 times in the face. A review by Illinois State Police found that Grayson was not justified in his use of deadly force. The shocking aspect of this story is not that there was another police of an unarmed black woman in her own home, but instead the fact that there was like actually swift criminal punishment for the actual perpetrator.
Yeah.
Which is like legitimately shocking.
It's such a low bar, but it was at least.
Apparently he was also discharged from the army for misconduct. Like this dude is.
If you get like dishonorably discharged from the army, you should not be given a job with any sheriff's department or police department. I don't know how that isn't immediately disqualifying.
It's because he got 2 DUIs in 2015 and 2016, so they were like, "Oh,
yeah,
good."
This guy has great judgment."
Yeah, that's what.
I don't know how.
Happens.
Like, what is there any other job that people know of where it's like you can f that bad and they just move you around? Only a few. It's like cop and, priest.
Yeah. Yeah. State's Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board shows Grayson worked for 6 different departments over 4 years. Through a FOIA request, WAN News found records showing he left the previous departments because he was searching for full-time employment. Before being hired full-time at Sangamon County, Grayson was a full-time officer for the Auburn Police Department and Logan County Sheriff's Office. In one document, Grayson admitted to being arrested previously for a DUI. Court records show he was arrested in 2015 and 2016 on 2 separate incidents. His job with Sangamon County was terminated last week when a grand jury indicted him on 3 counts of first-degree and other charges in the shooting of Sonia Massey, a 36-year-old Springfield woman who was shot after making a 911 call. Incredible stuff.
I can't touch her again.
Last week, Grayson was fired from the sheriff's department. Documents obtained by CBS News show he has worked for 6 different law enforcement agencies since 2020. When reached by CBS News, Grayson's attorney declined to comment. Vlad?
Roxana, thank you very, very much. It's remarkable and striking that he's worked for these 6 departments, and we don't know the circumstances
Raises a lot of questions
of why he was moving around so much. But
Grayson, who is white, has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of first-degree aggravated battery with a firearm and official misconduct and Massey's death. Illinois Law Enforcement Training Standards Board said he had 3 full-time and 3 part-time jobs in 4 police departments and 2 sheriff's offices over the past 4 years, all within the state of Illinois. Grayson was employed in 3 different police departments in 2021 alone. The records show his shortest term of employment was with the Kinsade Police Department, where he was employed for just over 3 months. Records list his reason for leaving as other. His longest term of employment was Sangamon County Sheriff's Office, where he worked for a year and 2 months. Grayson was fired from the Sangamon County last week following Massey's death. He worked part-time at the Pawnee Police Department from August 2020 to July 2021. Reason for listing other. Wait, he had a Totenkopf skull tattoo? Are you sure? No, that's not a totem.
I know, yeah, I don't think that's a Totenkopf.
Yeah, that's not a Totenkopf, but it's fine. We know he's
yeah, I mean, we saw him senselessly, premeditatedly someone.
Yeah, that's not a Totenkopf, but yeah, he assassinated an unarmed black woman in front of our eyes. That usually, and then he also chuckled when he said, "Oh, nah, don't waste the med kit on her.
Yeah,
she's dead."
He felt nothing. Like,
yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Her son telling the reporters that they refused to tell him who shot his mom after telling the family it was a suicide earlier.
Well,
they told me the family it was a fucking suicide?
Actually, I never got a call from the police or whatever. But they told me that my mom, she got shot in the eye and it came out her neck. And they didn't tell me who. They were just saying somebody. They never would tell me who. They just kept on saying someone shot her. They would never tell me who shot my mom, though. So, and I think I was the first person to find it out, too. I had to go tell my grandma myself. That's all I can say.
And you kept asking who?
Yeah, they wouldn't tell me at all.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like
It's just, like they told him it was a suit. Like, is anyone else from this department even gonna like lose their job over this? Like, God.
Nope. Shortly after, Grayson can be heard asking dispatchers a question. Does she have any call history for being 1096? Grayson asked at 1:26 a.m. A 1096 call refers to someone suffering from mental health issues. On the body cam video, Grayson can be seen asking Massey multiple questions about her mental health, like whether she has taken any medication. At one point, he even slows down his speech to ask her a question. After Grayson posed the question, a dispatcher could be heard asking if the gunshot wound was self-inflicted. The answer given by deputies is not clear. In a different recording from later in the morning, a dispatcher says the deputy's response was too short and the county office's recording software did not pick it up clearly. From there, dispatch calls in more units to the scene from multiple different agencies. We don't actually know what happened. He just screamed, shot fired. Somebody heard. One of the dispatchers heard the gunshots and said female shot in the head, but we don't know if she shot herself or if a deputy shot her, the county dispatcher said. The dispatcher takes a pause and then adds more information. They're now saying self-inflicted, she added. So like their original reporting was just to hide it and make it seem like she shot herself.
Yeah, if this wasn't recorded, like we would have probably never heard about this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does make you wonder how many things like this, you know, where we're told it's like a suicide or something.
The reason for dishonorable discharge would be equivalent to a civilian committing a felony. That's how serious his conduct was. Was he honorably discharged or dishonorably? U.S. Army dismissed for serious. Documents obtained by the Kincaid Police Department where Grayson worked previously noted that he was discharged from the Army in 2016 for the Fort Riley Army installation, Kansas for misconduct, serious offense. Army officials confirmed Grayson was a wheeled vehicle mechanic from May 2014 to February 2016, but declined to provide further details about his discharge. I watched the video. Nobody ever said, no one ever said she shot herself. No, this is after, when they're talking to dispatchers afterwards. Do you not see it? This is WGN9. It's not like some random vlog we're looking at. It's local news reporting that went in and talked to and got records with the dispatchers. It's a transcript, chatter. It's not directly from the video that you may or may not have watched. They used their mental health problems against her. This is also a consequence of ableism. They used their disability against her. Yeah. Here's Sonia Massey's dad affirming that this would have gone nowhere if not for the body cam.
I'm calling for the sheriff's resignation because I think it's a culture to treat this family this bad, to call these lies. If it were not for that camera footage, we as a people, they would have lied and they would have lied their way right out of this. I'm calling for the sheriff's.
Probably other than honorable, you have to feel pretty bad for dishonorable. Look at the video of when he steps outside. All the other cops are not even making eye contact with him. It's eerie because you can see immediately they knew he had up. I mean, if there was no body camera footage, it wouldn't have mattered. They would have covered for him. I mean, they tried to cover for him.
Yeah.
Now, of course, having said all of this, even though this is dead to rights, like 100% a straight up with like pretty much no evidence to the contrary, there are still people who are apparently chatters are saying XQC defended the cop, which I don't even know if he actually did or not, and I don't really give a shit. But there are still people all over Twitter that were posting that like I showed you earlier about how like she was asking for it and that she deserved it. Classic, you know.
Yeah, like she went out of her way to like empty the pot. She was turning the stove off. The cop told her to do that. Like he suggested it. And the I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That's her. She's saying like, why are you even suggesting I would do that?
Yeah. Anyway, don't DAs work with police? What interest do they have in prosecuting cops? It depends.
I mean, like with something like this bad, even like the most cynical reading is that like you need to maintain like some level of legitimacy in the eyes of like, you know, in the eyes of your constituents.
Yeah. And also it depends in terms of like, I mean, there are like progressive DAs that like, there are reform DAs, right? That right-wing Republicans constantly talk about how like George Soros is funding all around the country or whatever, like Larry Krasner. Like there are definitely DAs out there now, especially that do put the crosshairs on police malpractice, police misconduct, which is weird because like they should be they technically should be doing that all the time unconditionally. Like, you shouldn't be considered like a different kind of DA to do that, because the law is the law, right? But they did that. I really gotta stop bringing up excuse opinions. Someone could convince him to eat dog poop if they had like 20 minutes to pitch it. Who cares what he thinks about anything ever? Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just doing it for drama. Like, they're like, oh yeah, Hasan said this about you, and then they clip it and they post it on his stream. I already gave them that drama clip earlier, so. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. People claiming she threw water are so infuriating because they don't stop to think that they're saying some hot water deserves a bullet to the head. Like, it's just, that's always what's gonna happen. And if there's nothing, they will just lie. And in this circumstance, there's nothing, so they're just lying. You know what I mean? It's like when another school shooting happens and they can't find like one reason for why this school shooting happened that could have changed the dynamic altogether, like door control or whatever. So then they just start making up, like they start hallucinating that this was a Fed who went into the school to specifically do like gun control, even though no politician ever is like, yeah, we got to do gun control after a mass shooting. So like, there's always a thing that people will come up with to justify their preconceived notions.
Like they didn't. No one on Uvalde PD like even like lost their job after that, much less any type of gun control.
Yeah. Any updates on whether there will be a presidential debate? Not sure. I actually don't. I don't know. Anyway, if he thought water would be thrown, he should have disengaged. Cops are 100% the wrong. No, that's not even a thing. Like, that's not even.
Yeah, most of the people saying that don't even like believe that. You know, they don't even like believe that she was going to do that.
Yeah, they're not. They're not being serious, especially when the footage doesn't show that anyway. Like, she literally puts it down and apologizes, and then still gets shot in the head, and then the cop laughs about it afterwards too.
Remember when Biederman brought this up, but when Ossoff had to debate the empty chair, it'd be like a similar thing.
Subtitled Bodge, here's a 4cent fan. Can you explain the psychology behind the shooter doing that on body camera if he didn't have a reason? I don't know. He's a rabid little freak. I don't know. What was the psychology behind Derek Chauvin literally executing George Floyd in front of 45 eyewitnesses in broad daylight by putting his goddamn knee on his neck? Also, I don't think his body camera was on. I think it was the other cop's body cam that was on. That's what caught him. The psychology is cops know that they can get away with it.
Yeah, I mean,
or both were on. Someone's saying shooter's camera was off, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't think there's a limited amount to of how much you can get inside someone's head in a given moment. But I don't really think there's anything useful you could ascertain beyond like he just probably wanted to kill somebody that day.
Yeah. He turns his cam on after the shooting, but it keeps the 30. Oh, that's right. So body camera footage always has like roaming footage. So it's permanently on, and it collects data 30 seconds prior and 30 seconds after you turn it on or off. That's actually literally the reason why some cops get caught. Like, for example, in Baltimore Police Department, they famously have a case where they would go and like there's a group of like there's like a drug unit that goes in, arrests someone, walks over, dumps a bag of drugs and hides it, walks away from the bag of drugs, turns on his body camera, walks up to the area, the pile that he just neatly organized, conveniently finds a bag of drugs and goes, oh, well, there's drugs here. This arrest is warranted. Meanwhile, because the body camera has roaming footage, they have the 30 seconds prior to him turning on his body camera, and it perfectly corresponds to him literally dumping the drugs there to begin with, only to find it. Yeah, this is a famous case.